Yeah, the movie is a fantasy adventure about a girl and her relationship with a exotic primate on a remote island in the Black Sea, and it's about their ability to connect and communicate, and how that opens her up and changes her life and changes her ability to communicate to her own family. Yeah, probably first thoughts about it were like 8 years ago, and it was just that instinct to focus on a kid and an animal as the sort of antidote to the adult, disgusting, civilized, complicated world that we're living in, and the direct realness and authenticity and sensitivity of kids and animals and their wavelength. I wanted to see if I could write a movie about that. Yeah. I mean, I should say my college thesis film that didn't get into Sundance was 45 minutes long. So I think it's an unprogrammable length, and I still like that film. But yeah, no, it put me on the path of, like, at that time, I was managing a video store in North Beach, and there was the director's label DVDs for Gondry and Jones and Cunningham. And that just opened a door. I was like, oh, I can do that. I can take music video path, and I can double down on this ability to draw and sculpt and make puppets and creatures and stuff, and make kind of magic tricks on film. And so that's the route I took, because Sundance was such jerks. Yeah.
Well, when I first read it, I was thinking like, okay, so am I gonna like really play with a thing that doesn't exist, but like something, or is it just gonna be the air? Because I've seen a lot of movies with stuff like this where you would just literally speak with the air. So I was wondering, okay, this could be like cool, but this could also be like, just very hard to do as an actor. And then when I heard I was gonna like play with a thing like with the Ochi, something that comes alive, I was like, this is the chance of my life to like, I don't know, do ET.2. And then I really loved we got like this pitch trailer from Isaiah, and I thought that's just great. It's this really interesting world. It's like very mystic and very almost weird, like very different from this world. And I thought it was just great. And then also the cast, and then being able to actually shoot in Romania in the Carpathian Mountains and like have the real environment. It was just great.
Yeah, I had a very similar reaction. I mean, I was really taken by the script and the story, but also just the way that Isaiah was setting out to make the film, and I was just yeah, I don't know. I was very flattered that I got the chance to even read it, and to be able to be a part of a cast that was it's as good as it is. I was very lucky to be a part of it.
How did it experience? I was just wondering, compare to Stranger Things in terms of what you did here with practical elements and the combination of everything. Like, was that
Yeah.
similar to what you
Well, the first, I would say, like, the first season was more practical effects, and then sort of the more the seasons went on, the more just things were not possible with practical, the stuff that they wanted to do. Um, so a lot of that stuff is a lot more kind of what well, Helena was saying, which was just reacting to air a lot of the time, and so it was really kind of amazing to get this. Yeah, it's hard. It's it can be a hard thing, and so it just makes the job easier, sort of to be with a puppet for a bit, right?
Well, script instantly fascinating, and the sort of the smell of it just felt very particular, and in a sort of very detailed aesthetic, which was something that I couldn't place, as it were, which I love that. And then my then 14-year-old daughter read it and went, "Mum, there is no question. You are doing this movie. This is happening." So it for me was very liberating. I was saying earlier about turning up in Romania and going straight to a costume fitting where I was just layered up with enormous dirty jumpers and cargo pants and boots and leather jackets and this frizzy hair, and just it was like go play, really eccentric, um, um, and a properly messed up relationships inside a kid's fantasy, and it was just already all the conversations between those things become interesting straight away as an actor.
we worked with John Nolan Studios in London to create these creatures. They had just done Jurassic World for all the practical creatures in that. Even though they're a little scrappy team in a little tiny shop in London, they're at the top of their game. And I think our entire creature budget was like $1 million. But for a little indie movie, that's still a big portion. But look what they did with that. So I just huge hats off to just like their genius, the guys there who designed the animatronics and the puppets and the whole team of puppeteers and our primate motion coach. They were all like that. And I had started working with them for 3 years before we were greenlit. So like we had a lot of prototyping and development of the creature. In terms of the world building, it's really like, it's about, we scouted Romania for 3 years also. I had all these places figured out. And then my cinematographer, Evan Prasovsky, just us finding the right places to point the camera. And then in post, it's really about doing matte paintings and set extensions and really never settling for something that doesn't look right. And so shots that are otherwise great, but just the sky could be better. Let's paint it. So I think that's where everything gets elevated and looks bigger because of, the matte paintings. And that is one, I would say, cost saving thing is like in post, I'm free. Like I cost nothing and I did 200 matte paintings. So, but incredible work from all these independent VFX artists also who are then taking those matte paintings, putting them in the shots, layering it all up. So it's a very indie post VFX on this as well. I got to go one movie at a time, but I got to say right after doing this, like the really eye-opening thing was the power of actors, because I do come from music videos and kind of wordless short films. And like, I've always just been, my manifesto has been like the power of image and music. That's why I'm here. But in this film, I got to take my first swing at writing a bunch of words and seeing the best actors in the world do that. And it's intoxicating. And it's also like a load off. Like I don't want to have to will the world into existence every time. So that's where I want to go right now, is just like I want to write for actors. And there's a quote from PTA that the best special effect in the world is a great actor's face. And that's what it felt like with these people. And I just want to continue to double down on that special effect.
Your experience on the final season of Stranger Things was just like a year-long shoot, and leaving this experience behind that's been so defining and important in your life. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, no, it was 10-year journey, and a lot of people grew up on that show, and yeah, I mean it was a very emotional thing to leave behind, but I'm like incredibly excited just to see the show, because you work for something and it was sort of like this movie where it's like we worked on this so long ago in 2021, and you like move on and live your life, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's happening, and like the thing we did is like finally coming out, and like you get to re-experience these awesome things, and I'm excited about that. Like I think that like there was for me, like at the beginning I was feeling a bit just like depressed about it being over, just because of not being able to see everyone and stuff, and then you remember, you're like, oh, but it comes out, and people get to see it, and you get to re-experience it with everyone. And that was what was so emotional for me watching this film, actually, with all of us at Sundance, is because I hadn't seen like most of the crew since we wrapped in 2021, and like to be able to like sit down and like watch the movie with the crew and like reconnect was like so emotional for me, and like made the movie all that more important. And I would hope that obviously that's where Stranger Things 5 goes. And yeah.
So what is your focus now? Because I know you got Hell of a Summer coming out for release, and you're a budding filmmaker yourself. How do you see the next chapter for you?
I mean, I'm like someone, I think I'm like deeply curious about filmmaking, and really would like to keep directing, and that's something that I just feel very comfortable doing, and performing is also something that sometimes comes naturally, but also at the same time it's like 22, not to discount myself or anything, but it's like also just like trying to live life and come out the other side a normal semi-normal person. And
He's such a good kid.
and so all of that. I mean, I'd love to do all of it.